Turning now to students in Virginia who are facing a different kind of fight there, one that's not yet officially in the courts but may well be on its way after this week. Title IX is what this is all about. That's a civil rights law that says schools can't discriminate on the basis of sex. And the Virginia-based federal appeals court has already said that Title IX protects trans students who wish to use bathrooms that correspond with their gender identity. And 5 local school districts have policies that allow just that. But now, America First Legal is calling on the Department of Education to investigate these policies, arguing that they discriminate on the basis of sex and violate President Donald Trump's executive order on K-12 schools.
You have a male student that wants to feel safe and comfortable in a common restroom. Well, to feel safe and comfortable, he gets to use either the male restroom, a private restroom, or the female restroom. Now, the female who wants to also feel safe and comfortable in a common restroom, the female restroom, she's not allowed that because the male is using it. So it's the female student that, if she wants to feel safe and comfortable, has to go use the private restroom. That's treating the male student, biological male student, more favorably than the female student, which is discrimination on the basis of sex.
The formal complaint filed with the Department of Education names specific restroom policies for Arlington County, Alexandria City, Fairfax County, Loudoun County, and Prince William County. And Trump's executive order, which is entitled Ending Radical Indoctrination in K-12 Schools, on the Department of Education, it calls on the Department of Education to block federal funding to schools that support students who identify as transgender. Now, 4 years ago, against this backdrop, the Supreme Court allowed a Virginia trans student, Gavin Grimm's victory, to stand, leaving the Fourth Circuit's decision protecting access to school bathrooms in place. Fairfax County Public Schools, Virginia's largest school district, says they are compliant with federal and state law. They told us that FCPS remains committed to fostering a safe environment, including their trans and gender expansive students and staff. And they know students can only learn effectively when they feel safe and supported and accepted for who they are. The Department of Education says they are aware of allegations. They appear to be serious, but it's still in the early stages of evaluation. Meantime, a federal judge in Maryland blocked President Donald Trump's executive order attempting to end automatic birthright citizenship. The decision comes as a part of a lawsuit filed by pregnant women who are undocumented living throughout the United States, including 6 right here in Maryland. U.S. District Judge Deborah Boardman, a Biden appointee, said citizenship is the most precious right and is guaranteed by the Constitution. This after another federal judge called the order blatantly unconstitutional. The Trump administration didn't immediately indicate whether they plan to appeal the decision out of Maryland. A federal judge in D.C. issued a temporary restraining order against the Trump administration's freeze on federal loans and grants. Although the Trump administration rescinded the official OMB memo purporting to enact the freeze, the judge restrained White House officials from basically doing anything of the sort. She says that the plan to freeze funds may run roughshod over a bulwark of the Constitution by interfering with Congress's appropriation of federal funds, and it attempts to wrest the power of the purse away from the only branch of government entitled to wield it. A federal judge in Rhode Island issued a separate temporary restraining order against the same freeze late last week. And here's something to keep on your radar. There's a woman named Gwen Wilcox, and she's suing the Trump administration. You may not have heard of her yet, but this case could fundamentally change how our government works. Trump fired Wilcox from the National Labor Relations Board. But the problem is, board members enjoy statutory protection and can only be fired for malfeasance or neglect of duty. And part of the reason why that's the case is the National Labor Relations Board is one of our so-called independent agencies that have some insulation from the political will of whoever's in the White House, like the Federal Reserve or the FDIC, who insures the money in your bank. Now, one argument is we want some independence so that these agencies don't swing back and forth and succumb to the political leanings that can change quickly in this country. But on the other hand, conservatives have been long after and critical of these agencies, accusing them of actually thwarting political accountability. Trump appears to be directly challenging that structure, and now he's got a case that he may be able to do just that. Also in D.C., a group of anonymous FBI agents are suing the Trump administration over a reported list that is being developed comprised of agents who assisted in the criminal investigations of the president and the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The agents are concerned the information on the list could make them a target. DOJ demanded a full list of anyone who participated in the investigations, and the FBI reportedly turned over personnel information for several thousand employees, but it does not identify the individual agents who are involved.